privilege it has been to be here with you guys. Just honored and humbled, really. And I won't do too much fluff at the beginning. I know we're not supposed to, but I just really, tears, humbled, and blessed. So thank you. And when I was given the opportunity to speak about anything I want to speak about, that's pretty awesome, right? You're like, oh, okay, what am I going to go for? And I just thought, I want to talk about something that's given not just my kids' ministry, but also our church a lot of momentum over the last couple years. Something that has raised the bar across the board on a church-wide level for our families, for our kids, really for everyone. And that has been our church's decision to do a alignment of our curriculum, an alignment of our messages. So what we do is our kids, our youth, and our adults are in the same series all the time. Now, that's not normal. I totally know that. It's also not a new concept. There's lots of people have done this. Lots of people have tried this. And some of it's been awesome. Some of it hasn't been so awesome. But for us, it's been amazing. And it's really catapulted us. Like I said, it's raised the bar for us church-wide. And so it's something I'm very passionate about. Really, it's the number one thing that I hear positive feedback from our parents. It's, when you're looking for those specific things, people say, oh, good job, thank you for what you do. But when someone comes up and says, here's something that I really like about what you guys do, that is almost always the thing that they say to me. And so when I'm hearing that on a specific level, time and time again, it lets me know, I'm like, okay, we're doing something right. When I got to Kalispell, we were doing a very popular curriculum that many of you probably do, and lots of people have done, and we liked it. There wasn't anything really wrong with it. Our teachers and our leaders connected with it. Our kids enjoyed it. But the issue was that when I would get up to speak on a Sunday morning, it didn't burn inside of me. I had a really hard time connecting with the curriculum. I had a hard time really interacting with what was already written, what was already given for me to speak. So I sat down with my senior pastor, with my lead pastor, and we talked and said, what if this next year we just try an experiment? Like I said, not something brand new, but what if we lined up our curriculum? And then we pulled our youth pastor in and asked him the same thing. Hey, is this something you'd be interested in doing? And what we knew when we decided yes, we knew it was not going to be easy. We knew it had been done in the past, and we knew that it was going to require a lot of intentionality and a very big mixture of intentionality and also flexibility. And those things don't always go hand in hand very well. And there's several reasons. We'll address one in just a minute here. But that mix is hard to do because it requires a lot of flexibility to do what we're doing. I also realized this isn't for everyone. For sure, this isn't the best way to do it. It's not the only way to do it. It really depends on your situation. But for us, this is what it's done. And so I just want to tell you, kind of what it looks like for us. I am privileged to be able to sit on the message team and also the creative team for our church. That's not everybody's model, but it's our model, and it's worked very well. So that allows me not only to just hear what my pastor is going to be speaking on a Sunday morning, but I also get to help develop that, and that's really awesome. And that has been very helpful in the process of aligning our curriculum up. We meet once a week. We are 4 to 6 weeks out on our series, 4 to 6 months out on our message series. So I'll know what's coming well down the road. My pastor emails out to our message team what the series is going to look like and our creative team. And so I have quite a while to look at what the series is going to be. And at that point, I can ask a few questions. One, does this series really work for kids? What does the packaging look like? Is it going to resonate with a kid? Is it fun and exciting? Does it pop? Or is it boring looking? Is it very passive? Now, really, none of our graphics are boring looking because they do a great job. But is it going to connect with the kids or not? And I found that we've really been able to be flexible, and it's allowed me a lot of creativity in order to line our kids' messages and our youth messages up with what they're doing in the main auditorium. I'll go ahead and show you. They did a Modern Family series a few months ago, and if you've ever seen the show Modern Family, what your thought is, I probably don't want to introduce that thought even to our kids. So that's the very first thing. Now, adults can handle it. They go there automatically as soon as you say Modern Family, because that's the whole point of it, is to say, this is what God says about the Modern Family, and this is what the world will say about the Modern Family. Well, I'm not probably going to go to world with our kids on it. What I want to do is, do something friendly for kids. So we just went Lego family for that one, and did a whole stage design. Lots of you probably done Lego series, and actually got inspiration from Scott, and built Legos on the thing. And every single week we talked about how everything is awesome when your family's a team. And so that was a lot of fun. That was a way to get creative with what they were doing in the adults, but make it our own. For Easter, it was a lot of fun because we went very kid-friendly. It's like the most kid-friendly day of the year for us, and we're really family-focused. And we did a whole series called Glow for that day. And I got to choose. It was really fun because I got to choose what the whole church was going to call that day. And so that was super fun for me. We did a glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt. The parents were stoked. They're hearing about it. Why glow? Why are we calling it this? Well, one of the reasons is the kids are doing a glow-in-the-dark Easter egg hunt, amongst others. We're in a series called Titus. And I'm like, Titus? Yeah, that sounds boring for kids. But what they're calling it in the adults is they're saying live it out, because Titus is all about doing good. It's about putting your money where your mouth is. You say you're a Christian. Do you act like a Christian? Here's how you act like a Christian. This is what it looks like. And so we're doing Titus. We decided to go with Titus. It's not a game, and it's a whole video game series, and it's super fun. All of our games line up. We did a Mario Brothers game this last week. We're going to do one every week. All of our music throughout the whole series does this, and it's so cool because the kids see their mom and dad are doing the same series that they're doing. Their grandparents are in the same series that they're doing. We just put a really fun little twist on it. So I get to see the series about 4 to 6 months out, like I said, and then I get the message, ideally, about 2 weeks out. So I have 2 weeks to kind of start praying about it, start thinking about how am I going to communicate this to the kids. My lead pastor, usually about a week and a half, sends me the outline. And so I'm able to, he sends questions that he asks everybody at the end of his message. And then he'll also send the scriptures. So at that point, I can take the questions, I can take the scriptures, and I start thinking through, okay, how is this going to work for kids? And then a few days later, he'll send me his entire message. He always tweaks it as the week goes, but for the most part, I get his outline. And then what I can do at that point is I pick out bits and pieces of his message, and I put it into mine. And one of the biggest reasons that we do this in the first place is to create a common language for families. So I look at his messages and I say, you know what? I want our kids to hear this. Not only are they hearing the heart of their pastor, but now their families go home, and if they have a common language, to have conversation. And so we really encourage our families to do this. We want our families to have common language with each other. We love that they're hearing the same things. Now, here's a few things that it's done really positively for us, and a few of the benefits that we've seen. Number one is this. It brings a sense of alignment to your team. So I had a mom the other day come in and tell me, hey, Pastor Josh, I can't be here for both gatherings today. I can only be here for one. And you know what normally comes after that, right? So I'm not going to be able to help. You're like, bum, 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 bum. Well, she said, but you're speaking the same message in here, so I'm going to hear it anyways. And I was like, ka-ching! I was so stoked. I'm like, man, that is awesome. Because I'm using the same, a lot of the same points. I'm using the same scripture. And so she felt confident enough to say, as one of my team leaders who's seen how we do it, who's been in both gatherings, to say, but I'm able to be in here because I'm going to hear the message in here today. We love that because we encourage our team, serve one, attend one, non-negotiable. So, in our small group times that we have in each one of our gatherings, they have been in that scripture this whole series. So when they're sitting down with the kids, they're coming from a wealth of experience. It's what they've been hearing in the adult gatherings. It's what they've been reading in their Bibles at home. It's what they've been following up on our weekly emails that we send out as a church. It's awesome. So that they're not sitting down and looking at it for the first time or hearing, the kids' message. What are we doing? They've really heard about this already. It's pretty cool. Another thing is it's really holistic. It's almost, there's certain intangibles about it. It feels right. For me, it just feels right. It's like, oh, man, this is awesome. There's just something about an 80-year-old and a 50-year-old and a 30-year-old, 20, and then you got your fifth grader who are all on the same page in your church, who are all working towards the same goal, working towards the same direction in that season, in that series. And it's a big win for me personally because it allows me to be a part of every content conversation that we have as a staff. And I'll say it again, it's not easy. It requires so much intentionality and a lot of flexibility. The second thing is this: your church's sense for kids ministry is heightened. We believe in a multi-generational church, and our definition of that is we gear to the young and we lean into the wisdom of the old. So we gear to the young and we lean into the wisdom of the old. And I have heard feedback from some of our oldest people in our church who have said, oh, it's so cool that you guys are in the same series that we're doing. Or they poke their head in and they see up on the screen we have the graphic that they're teaching, and they know that they're grandkids, and they know what their kids are hearing. The parents in our parents and grandparents and people who don't have kids, they know what we're talking about in kids ministry. That is awesome. That is awesome. We talk about kids in our adult gatherings all the time. One of the things I'm so privileged is to have a lead pastor who's kid-minded and family-minded is one of our values. And so he will say, this is what your kids are learning today. Here's something that your kids are learning. This is a specific thing. And me and him will connect, and I say, this is something I'm specifically picking out today. And so he'll mention that to our parents. And it's always a win when your senior pastor is thinking about kids ministry.
Yeah, right.
It requires him, if he's up for it, to be more intentional about what he's speaking. And for his mind and for his eye to be on what we're doing, always a win. Third thing is this: it provides a platform for family conversation. Like lots of you, we do a weekly take-home. We call ours the Family Huddle Sheet. It's nothing fancy yet. We're hoping to get it more into like a template that's kind of cool and glossy and whatever else. But I sit down with the team and we write this every week. And one of the cool things that we do is I try to stick homework in there that not only I'm giving parents, but also that our lead pastor is giving them. This week he said, this is Pastor Kevin's homework: walk out in the evening and stare at the sky quietly. Listen and see God's glory in the heavens, then read Psalm 19 together. Pretty cool. Do families do it? You know what? The ones that do are blessed for it. We had a family do. I just got this picture off Facebook the other day that did this exact thing. Went out and, looked at the sky and read Psalms 19 together. That made my week. Yep. And that's what we want to see our families doing. What a cool picture. And you know what? Not only did their parents hear it, but their kids heard it too that week. And then they followed up with it later. Our huddle sheets are a weekly tool that we use for another thing for our parents to be able to have more conversation with their kids. And the thing is this: we know that it's not ideal. Does it happen every once in a while that we're the primary disciples of kids? Yes, it does, and we're there to do it. But that's not our ideal. If we have parents who are godly and are in place to have these conversations with their kids, let's give them every tool that we possibly can. Let's break down every barrier that we possibly can in order for them to go and do this. You're probably thinking there's reasons I can't do this. And like I said, there might be. Here are some that you might have thought of. I don't have enough time. And truthfully, it takes time. It takes a lot of time to do this. But I want the message to burn in me. And so it was going to take me a lot of time if I was doing the curriculum or if I wasn't. Now, that's me personally. But for you, it might be one of those things where it's just, you don't do it every single time. Maybe the answer for you is you do it once or twice a year. Maybe it's that one series where you come together. It's 2 or 3 series, specific times a year where you say, we're really family focused during this time. Because it does take a lot of time. No doubt about it. Has it been worth it for us? Yes, but you might be in a different spot. Totally. And I've had to give stuff away because of it. For sure. I've had to lead a little differently following this model. The second thing is this. I have a scope and sequence, and it wouldn't fit. There are 4 or 5 things that I want my kids to be hearing, and if I do it this way, if we align our curriculum, they're not going to be able to hear the things that I want them to be able to hear. And that's totally legitimate as well. For me, personally, I've been able to find ways to fit whatever I wanted to say within whatever message that we're doing as a church. I like to talk about the promises of God. He created you, and He has a plan for you. If you're a girl, you're beautiful. If you're a boy, He thinks you're awesome and cool. And I say that in every single message. God will never leave you. He won't ever leave you no matter what you do. Man, I can fit that into about anything. And so there are ways to kind of work within that frame, but it's a legitimate concern. Maybe for you, it's grabbing bits and pieces of what you know is going to be taught in your adults. It's, hey, I'm going to use the scripture. Or I'm going to use this one phrase. There's something that my pastor's saying every week for 2 months, and I'm going to make sure I'm saying it every week for 2 months in Kidsman. Maybe it's just bits and pieces for you. Third thing is this. I don't think my pastor would go for it. Messages are like babies. They are emotionally attached to you. And you might be one of those people who your pastor's like, I'm really protective of my message. You're doing your thing. You're awesome. You got it going. But you're like, if I approach him and say I want to have anything to do with his message, it's going to be like, stay away from me. You don't get to hold the baby. No, So maybe for you, the answer is to say, you know what? And this is really the case for anyone who wants to do this. It's not about telling my pastor, hey, let's align. It's saying, I'm willing to come alongside you and align with what you're doing. Whether it's the scriptures, the bits and pieces of the message, or if it's the whole series like we do. It's, hey, this is the work I'm willing to put into making this happen because I see the value in it. And I bet you that will make your pastor let you hold the baby. He might not let you feed the baby, but he might let you hold the baby. Now, because we all know how emotional is it when you get done being so vulnerable, speaking a message and giving a message. So if you come alongside with that heart and say, Pastor, here's something I just think this is a value. I know you're family focused. What if we did this? Like I said, maybe it's not every message. Maybe it's a couple times a month. Maybe it's just a couple sentences a week. But I challenge you to pray about it. Think about what can I do to give my parents, to give our families, to give our guardians, that's something that we say specifically every week, guardians an opportunity to go home and have conversation with their kids. How do I align our church? We go the same direction. Thank you very much.